What is cracking, everybody? Glad you guys are in here this morning. Man, we are approaching the end. Week 14. Are you kidding me? I can't believe we're here. This is great. So yeah, no, if you guys obviously have some fantasy football related questions, obviously throw them into the chat. I mean, I guess you could ask me non-fantasy football related questions too. Why limit ourselves, baby? Why limit ourselves at all? Anyways, appreciate you guys. So obviously start sit questions would be, obviously we're getting after it today, which is going to be great. But yeah, man, dude, I can't believe we're in week 14 already, man. But yeah, I got some sleepers here too for you. Although I didn't want to say all week long I've been advocating. All week long I've been advocating Elijah Moore, and honestly, I think we just can't do that now, right? Like there was a couple of assumptions. The primary one being that Amari Cooper would not be playing. It's like the guy suffered multiple injuries and is coming back from a concussion, but somehow is playing today. All right, that's interesting. Anyways, was not obviously expecting that, so he's back. So that's a big one. But even if he were back, I think I would still like Elijah Moore. But then we got the weather, right? So now we've got weather, we've got volume concerns. I just, I want to love Elijah Moore, but I'm not going to be one of those guys that just sticks to my take that I had on Tuesday. I had this take on Wednesday. Okay, we're on Sunday. It's okay. I've moved on. So no, I can't advocate Elijah Moore as a sleeper this week. Another one that I really liked, and I'm having a little kind of second thoughts on, although I still may stick with it. It's Parker Washington. Parker Washington had a nice little breakthrough game last week. And as crazy as this sounds, guys, I actually don't like the fact that Trevor Lawrence is starting. I think they're going to do a lot to protect him. Obviously, they have a lot to worry about, the Jacksonville Jaguars, more than just this one game, right? They've got the playoffs to worry about. And maybe they think an injured Trevor Lawrence gives them a better chance to win, which, to be honest, CJ Beathard, probably. But how much are they going to do to protect him? How many 3 wide receiver sets are they going to throw out there? How often are they going to go max protect? How often in weather conditions are they going to run the ball? Those would be my things. So I almost feel like, ETN's probably a good start. I know he's a little bit banged up too. Dearness Washington, all of a sudden, I think becomes a very interesting deep sleeper play. I didn't write about him at all, but again, with Trevor Lawrence back there, weather concerns, I wouldn't be surprised if Dearness Johnson sees, 10 to 12 touches today. So again, deep sleeper, if you're looking desperate at running back, Dearness Johnson, I think, is an interesting one. Anyways, let's get to some of these questions, man. Just wanted to kind of throw that one out there because I know I've been talking about and writing about, Elijah Moore and Parker Washington, and all of a sudden with the developments that we have here on Sunday, weather and quarterback and depth and all that kind of stuff. I want to back off of that just a little bit. All right, here we go. Yo, Gangrene, I appreciate you, man. Hey, man. Yeah, man. It's been a different year this year, right? First time in 15 years I haven't been doing TV. First time in 10 years I haven't done fantasy football TV, which is crazy. Crazy that I've made a living doing this, man. But it's been great. But to your question, flex spot PPR, I really like Jerick McKinnon here. High scoring game, yeah, Jerick McKinnon to me. I know they said CEH is the starter. Are we buying that? Chat, are we buying that? Are we buying that right now? The CEH is the starter? I don't know. I'm not sure. I kind of like Jerick McKinnon there. We've seen him do it before. I know that he's missed the last 2 games here. I think it was last 3 games with the groin injury, but no injury designation this week, and he was supposed to be really close last week. A little bit of a surprise inactive last week, actually, to be honest with you. I really like Jerick McKinnon here. All right, Fadon, what's up, man? Good to see you, pal. Let's see. Got a double PPR question. James Cook, fresh off of bye. Yes, love him. Or Mostert, worried about the snap share. I'm actually not that worried about Mostert's snap share, to be honest. We like HN. We love HN. But I think at worst, it's going to be 50-50. You know what? Let me look this up here because I'm not that worried about it. And I think the last time I did look, it was more of a 50-50 share. But just to be sure, I am going to be, I'll check this out for you. Last game, Miami against Washington. And again, remember, this was an absolute blowout, 45-15, the final score here. So I'm not sure how much we take away from that. But Devin Achane did play 59%. Raheem Mostert played 40%. But again, I just want to stress the fact that it was a blowout. So for me, I feel like it's probably going to be a lot closer to 50-50 than it is 60-40. And with that, though, I think you know what you're getting, right? So overall, not too bad. I think Mostert should be fine. Taking on Tennessee, that's obviously not a great matchup at all. Tennessee, very pass funnel defense, and I think that's what they'll do. So either way, I'm not that worried about snap share per se. I don't like the matchup. So for me, give me James Cook right there. By the way, I talked about this and wrote about it too, but 14.8 opportunities per game for James Cook under Ken Dorsey. Last two games, and again, smaller sample size, but notable. Under Joe Brady, James Cook has averaged 22 opportunities per game. So he's a much, much bigger part of this offense the last couple of weeks. Now, is that the new OC or is it game script? I don't know. But certainly there's encouraging signs that we may see more volume here with James Cook moving forward. So I don't know. We'll see, man. All right, what's another one? Sit one. I got to sit Laporta, Sutton, or Olave with his flu. Not just the flu, but also Derek Carr. Carr's banged up. He's going to be playing. I mean, I don't know what to make of Derek Carr. Guys, here's the thing. He has suffered 2 concussions in 3 games. When that happened with Tua last year, we're asking whether or not he should retire. Okay? That's how, I mean, this is crazy. I think it's irresponsible of the Saints to be throwing him out there. And I'm not even talking about from who cares about fantasy football for a second? Obviously, for fantasy football purposes, we would much rather see Jameis Winston, right? Because not that we're playing Jameis Winston. I don't know. Maybe we are in a super flex, but just for our, assets, right? Like whether we've got A.T. Perry or, A.T. Perry deep sleeper, whether we got Olave or whatever it might be, right? We want Jameis Winston in there. I'm just talking about like real life responsibility, like he's had 2 concussions. You're putting him out there again. It's crazy. He hasn't missed a game. This is nuts. He hasn't missed a game with 2 concussions in 3 weeks. There's just no way. Come on, man. Like Saints, what are we doing out here? This is not responsible. This is morally not responsible what we're doing here with Derek Carr. So I don't know, man. That's crazy to me. But yeah, Olave obviously missed practice all week with the flu. We got Derek Carr coming back in. He's got all kinds of he's got like 17 injuries, but they're going to trot him out there. All right, that's fine, but probably not great for Olave. Probably really, really good for Alvin Kamara. I think there's going to be a lot of checkdowns, a lot of running against a Carolina defense that is obviously one of the worst running defenses in the NFL, if not the worst, right? So I definitely am hesitant about Olave. I probably like Laporta. The most. I think Sutton, man, can Sutton keep this touchdown streak alive? Like, it's crazy. What is going on? It's Sutton every week. It's got to come to an end, right? It's got to come to an end at some point. The Sutton, like Sutton is the wide receiver Gus Edwards, like unless this guy scores touchdowns, not great games. Okay, hold on. Let me look this up. Courtland Sutton, man, it's crazy what he's been doing from a touchdown perspective. He has scored a touchdown in all but 3 games this year. That's crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 games he has scored a touchdown. Geez, man, just it's just bonkers. I mean, and again, like against KC, he's got 2 catches for 29 yards, but he gets a touchdown, so he's good. He's fine. Cleveland, he had 3 catches for 61, and that's the worst game he's had in a bit here. So 9.1 in PPR, but yeah, it's interesting, right? Like in week 13 against Houston, 7 targets, 2 grabs for 77 yards and a touchdown. And again, that touchdown was a long one. If he didn't catch that touchdown, oh my God, no, he's got nothing on the stat sheet, right? So how long can it keep going? It's a great matchup, man. I don't know. Chargers giving up the 3rd most fantasy points to wide receivers overall. I'll even look this up for you. And then when we deep dive into what are these guys doing against outside wide receivers? Okay, so the LA Chargers have given up they're a little bit more middle of the road, 13th most fantasy points per game to outside wide receivers. I still have Courtland Sutton as a start this week, but there's some other metrics here that would indicate that it's a little bit tougher of a matchup than you would think. Over the last 8 weeks, they have given up a 57.5% completion rate. That's actually 11th best. And they've been about league average everywhere else. Where they have gotten banged, though, is on touchdowns to outside. What do you know? They've gotten banged on outside wide receiver touchdowns. They have given up 6 touchdowns over the last 8 weeks. So 6 touchdowns over the last 8 games to outside wide receivers. So when they start looking for some points in the red zone, they look for outside wide receivers. What does that mean? Courtland Sutton. So yeah, I've got him as a start, even though there's some other metrics here that would indicate this is much more of a neutral matchup here. But do have Sutton as a start. Where am I going with this? Oh, it's either Laporta or Sutton for me. And to be honest with you, I feel a little bit more comfortable with Laporta. But I think I think even if you're chasing upside, it's Laporta, right? So Laporta, I think, is the answer for me, although I won't blame you for playing either Olave or Sutton. So yeah, but I like Laporta. That's a really strong group, by the way, at your flex. Laporta, Sutton, and Olave. I wish I had that problem. Golly. All right. Here we go. Is DK safe to start with Locke? Should you start Wicks instead with Watson out? Yeah, you know what, man? I'm tempted by Wicks. I really am. I still think he might be 4th on the pecking order, though, because I like Wicks. I think he does some good things. Watson's obviously out, but I think it's still much more Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, and they're going to feature A.J. Dillon. Guys, it's December. A.J. Dillon's about to get some work, baby. Okay? A.J. Dillon's going to eat. I'm telling you. A.J. Dillon's about to get some work now. Because it's December. I won't bore you, but golly, go look up A.J. Dillon's September numbers versus December numbers. Completely different. Like, it's a totally different player that we're talking about. I don't know what it is, whether he's got whether it's the defenders in December, they just get worn down. They don't want to see A.J. Dillon come down the pipe, right? I don't know. Anyway, so look, DK is going to still be one of the top 2 guys there from an offensive game plan standpoint, right? So I think overall, I think you're still good to go with DK, man. I've got DK in a spot. Actually, in my league of record, I've got DK. I don't feel that worried about playing him, honestly. Okay, so obviously he's taking on San Francisco. I'll look this up for you. Believe it or not, okay, San Francisco actually has given up a lot of production to outside wide receivers. Over the last 8 weeks, they've actually given up the 4th most fantasy points per game to outside wide receivers. They've given up the 3rd most yards and the 2nd most receptions per game to outside wide receivers. So now, overall, great defense, but it's interesting. When you pick on them, you're generally going to pick on them on the outside. Now, it should be noted that they have seen the most pass attempts to outside wide receivers as well. And I think, like, just from a mental standpoint, it makes sense, right? Because San Francisco's scoring a lot of points, right? So if San Francisco's scoring a lot of points, well, the team's got to play a little catch up. What are they going to do? You got to throw the ball. So I think, to me, I think DK is fine. San Francisco, I think, it has a scary defense overall, but better in real life than in fantasy. DK Metcalf in this same matchup last time was not great. 3 catches for 32, so 6.2 PPR points. But I think they're in a different spot, San Francisco, than they were, before. So I don't know, man. I'll go ahead and take it. I'll trust in it. I think DK Metcalf. I think they make an adjustment here, and I think DK, ends up seeing a good amount of targets here, and they'll get it going. Look, they're not going to be. Look, the bottom line is, man, San Francisco or Seattle's not going to be able to run on San Francisco. Let's be 100% clear on that. Okay, so I'll look this up here. Let's see. San Francisco's allowed the 4th fewest rush yards per game. They have allowed a 3.91 yards per carry average, which, believe it or not, is league average over the last 8 weeks. We've been talking about. If you guys have been listening to me on my Sirius XM show, I've been talking about how, passing is down. We all know passing is down. But did you guys know rushing is down too? Rushing is really bad this year. Again, 3.91 yards per carry allowed by San Francisco. That would be like a top 5 number in any other year. This year, that's league average. That's league average, 3.91. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. That's just how bad the run games have been overall as well. I mean, can you believe it? I mean, more than half the teams have allowed less than 4.0 yards per carry. That's just nuts, man. That's crazy. It's insane. Anyways, okay. So yeah, San Francisco overall has allowed the 6th fewest fantasy points per game to the running back position. So obviously your Seattle running back plays are in great jeopardy here. I do think it's going to be a little bit pass funnel, and I think DK should be fine. Drew Lock scares me a little bit, obviously, but I think overall, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be all right there, man. So yeah, I feel like I probably missed. Did I miss a question somewhere? Let's see here. Yeah, Thomas Leos, Keaton Mitchell. Let's see, Keaton Mitchell, Kenneth Walker. Obviously, I just said I don't like Kenneth Walker at all. Jerick McKinnon or Dameon Pierce. Don't trust those Dameon Pierce points, man. I'm not chasing that. I'm not chasing the Dameon Pierce points. He's been terrible all year long. He's not a good system fit, and yeah, it's a full-on backfield share with Devin Singletary. So no, I'm good. Keaton Mitchell is interesting to me. Bad weather game. It's a 3-back rotation. Most explosive player, but bad weather. I don't know. I'm probably not trusting that one too much either. Jerick McKinnon is probably the guy, as crazy as that is. Jerick McKinnon might be the guy. Keaton Mitchell, again, 3 running back share. We want Keaton Mitchell to be the featured guy, and he might be featured, but it's still going to be a 3-man rotation there in Baltimore, and it's a bad weather game. So I don't feel good about that. Kenneth Walker, obviously horrible matchup. Also, what's his health situation? We're not 100% sure. And Jerick McKinnon is supposed to be in a high-scoring game. I think he might be, again, it's full PPR. If it was standard, I'd probably go Keaton Mitchell, but full PPR, give me Jerick McKinnon. Give me Jerick McKinnon. I think that's a bold call. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a bold call. People are going to be like, whoa, this guy's starting Jerick McKinnon over Keaton Mitchell and Kenneth Walker. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, man. All right. Clark Schuyler, what's up, dude? Good to see you, pal. Good morning. I always appreciate your support in all the endeavors, man, for sure. Let's go. Let's go get these dubs. I agree. Let's go get these dubs, dude. RJ Flip, good morning to you, pal. And the fellow co-pilots. Yeah, baby, co-pilots. Let's go. Pick one of T. Higgins, Jaden Reed, or Josh Downs. I really like Jaden Reed this week. I really like Jaden Reed a lot this week. Okay, now that being said, can I just say I think T. Higgins actually has the highest ceiling. Josh Downs is really interesting too. You've got 3 really good options here. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them, to be honest with you. If I pick T. Higgins, it's not because I don't like Jaden Reed, because I love Jaden Reed. I love Josh Downs this week. I think both of those guys are going to be PPR gold. I just think that T. Higgins is getting a little bit healthier. And they went so heavy in the Jamar Chase, volume share last week. I think they just evened that out a little bit, man. So T. Higgins, I think, is in a pretty good spot, taking on Indianapolis. I'll look this up for you. Outside wide receivers, Indianapolis. They have been very spotty. They've been very up and down, but overall, oh, interesting. Overall, Colts have been good on outside wide receivers. 10th fewest fantasy points per game over the last 8 weeks, but I don't think they're there, to be honest with you. I think just from a, like watch them on tape perspective, I don't think the Colts are this good, but the numbers look great, man. 55% completion rate, 54.7% completion rate to outside wide receivers over the last 8 weeks, seventh best in the NFL. Okay. 5.9 receptions per game, eighth best in the NFL, 10th fewest yards to outside wide receivers over the last 8 weeks. Who have they played? They've actually played decent. Oh, this is why. So they've played decent wide receivers, but, obviously in bad spots. Okay, so they played Nuke Hopkins there in week 13. Will Levis can't find the sign of a barn right now. Mike Evans there in week 12. He was fine. Then they saw New England in week 10. They've got absolutely no one on the outside there. Hold on a second. Let me look this up. Mike Evans against Indianapolis. He had 25 fantasy points, 6 grabs on 9 targets, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And I get it. It's Mike Evans. I'm just saying, look at the quality of outside wide receivers. Week number 9, they saw Carolina. They've got no outside wide receivers. Week number 8, they saw Chris Olave. Now, Chris Olave, 5 catches for 46. But remember, in that week 8 game, he had a freaking touchdown bounce off his helmet. Okay, so that could have been a touchdown and a big one too. So he could have absolutely popped right there. Week 7, it was Amari Cooper, but Deshaun Watson got hurt mid-game in week number 7, right? So for me, I just think from a film perspective, I don't think the Colts are that good on the outside, but obviously from a numbers perspective, they've been great. But man, the matchups have been incredibly favorable for the Indianapolis Colts. So I think I really like T. Higgins this week. Jamar Chase, obviously, I like a lot too. By the way, I very rarely go against some of these numbers, especially when we're talking about an 8-week sample size. But I don't know, man. Like they saw New England and Carolina, in back-to-back weeks. The one outside wide receiver that they saw popped them for 25 PPR points in Mike Evans. I don't know, man. I feel good about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I think they'll be A-okay. So yeah, give me T. Higgins right there. But if I had to rank them, T. Higgins, Jaden Reed, Josh Downs. And again, nothing against Josh Downs, but by the way, we love Josh Downs. We love Josh Downs, right? As a real life player, but he's been a disappointment even in PPR formats over the last month. Last week, 4.4. Week 12, great spot. Great spot against Tampa Bay, 9.3. Week number 10, 6. Week number 9, 2. Right? So those are the last 4 weeks. That's been a month. It's been a month. It's been 5 full weeks since Josh Downs has cracked double-digit PPR points. And yeah, so I don't know. I think obviously a lot of it has to do with Minshew. Minshew is a little bit all over the place too. He's a really up and down quarterback. I'm not going to disparage Minshew, guys. All right. I like Minshew. I like his competitive spirit. I like the fact that he'll fire the ball wherever, whenever. It doesn't matter. He loves turning the ball over, though. Listen, boy, he loves turning the ball. That's why he's a backup quarterback. All right. He's a backup quarterback. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Minshew's the perfect backup quarterback, as a matter of fact. He's just good enough to keep your NFL offense functional, right? Like, it's not like he's going to throw up all over his shoes. He actually, like I said, I like his game spirit. You know what I'm saying? But he's obviously not good enough at all to be a starter in this league. That's why he's the perfect backup. Because if you have him as backup, the fans don't want to see him unless your starter sucks. But if you have even like a midline starter, it's not like you're clamoring to go see Gardner or Minshew. But if your starter does go down, like Anthony Richardson went down, Minshew, I think, can step in and actually keep the offense functional. I mean, for God's sakes, they this is a team that scored 31 points against Tennessee. They scored 27 against Tampa Bay. They scored 27 against Carolina, 27 against New Orleans. They scored 38 against Cleveland. Right, so this is this is a team that's scoring some points now. Right. So, obviously the win loss record has been a little bit up and down, but they have won 4 games in a row. So I'm just saying it's interesting stuff. So yeah, Josh Downs hasn't done jack squat over the last month, but I still like him in this matchup too. But yeah, go ahead and give me T. Higgins, Jaden Reed, and then Josh Downs. All right. Clark Schuyler, do we like Olave or Rice? I still stick with Olave there, man. I don't love it. I don't love it, but again, I do think that Olave. I don't want to go. So I don't like Olave for what the expectations are, but versus Rashee Rice against Buffalo, I'm probably still sticking with Olave right there, man. So yeah, let's just go. Clark Schuyler, another one. Here we go. The Zahe Kid Zay Jones versus Cleveland. Weather concerns there. Dubs versus the Giants. Yeah, I like him. CEH versus Buffalo. I like him too. If I had to pick full point PPR, I'd probably go Dubs. Dubs and Jordan Love have had a serious, bromance at different times here. So I like Dubs against the Giants. I think he's going to see plenty of targets, and against the Giants, I think he'll be A-okay. Okay, so I'll look this up for you just in case. The New York Football Giants against outside wide receivers. Yeah, they've allowed the 10th most fantasy points per game to outside wide receivers. 8.21 yards per target. That is in the bottom 12 as well. The 5th most yards per game, below average completion percentage allowed, and the 7th most, the 6th most receptions per game. So the 6th most receptions, the 5th most yards. Dontavian Wicks is a deep sleeper, and Romeo Dubs is just a regular old, start. Just start him up. I think he'll be fine. I think he's going to be pretty good. So yeah, I like Dubs right there. Taysom Hill, Schultze, both out. Yeah, I know, right? We're running out of tight end options, guys. Fantasy football gods, we're running out of tight end options. Okay. Taysom Hill, Dalton Schultz. Almost called him Jordan Schultz for some reason. Dalton Schultz they're both out. Brevin Jordan or Tyler Conklin in half PPR. Give me Brevin Jordan. Brevin Jordan played a ton of snaps. Tyler Conklin is still in a timeshare. It's supposed to be a weather concern. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. Yeah, I'm not feeling it with Conklin here, but let me I'll just give you this idea here, okay? Because Conklin is in a 3-way timeshare at tight end, which we obviously do not like. We don't like that. Let me pull this up here. Against the Falcons. Let's see, tight end. Yeah, 3-way timeshare. You've got Tyler Conklin, who played 73%, so he passes that mustard there. But Jeremy Ruckert has been playing a lot of snaps. He saw 42%. CJ Uzama only played 3% of the snaps, but in previous games it was Ruckert and Uzama and Conklin. I don't know. I guess we'll see how they split it up in today's ball game. But yeah, just know that 3 tight ends are in play. When I look for a tight end sleeper, by the way, there are certain benchmarks, right? So they have to cross that 70% threshold. That's nice for a sleeper. And again, I worry a little bit less about target share. For example, like Cade Otton. Guy plays like 97% of the snaps. He doesn't always see targets because he's competing against Mike Evans, Rashad White, Chris Godwin. So he's 4th on the pecking order. But he's always out there, which makes him in good spots, which, by the way, I really like Cade Otton this week against Atlanta. Atlanta has really struggled at various times against tight end. I really like Cade Otton. I think he's got some stuff. He's got some upside potential here. But yeah, I like Brevin Jordan more than Tyler Conklin. I think they'll be fine, So obviously weather concerns for both in the same game. But I'll take Brevin Jordan a little bit more than Tyler Conklin there. Okay. Boom, boom. Jason McFarland. Here we go. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Jason McFarland. You missed us last week. We missed you, pal. We missed you, pal. Keaton Mitchell, bad weather game. You need 2 in the flex, right? Okay. So Keaton Mitchell, Dalton Kincaid, Jerick McKinnon. So I definitely want to play Jerick McKinnon. Ah, God. I feel so bad about Chris Godwin, but you know what? There is a little bit of a narrative that that Godwin might see a lot more targets this week because he complained about it a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. By the way, if you guys are wondering what's going on with Chris Godwin, I have a very simple answer for you. One, well, look, it's a Baker Mayfield led offense. It's not Tom Brady, right? So we already know quality of targets and number of targets, whoop, going down. Right. So number of targets go down, quality targets go down to Chris Godwin. But my big thing for him is that he's played 65% of his snaps out wide. And only, 30% in the slot. That's completely flipped of what it's been almost every year in his career. Almost every single year in his career, he's been 65, 70% a slot man and 30% on the outside. But this year they've flipped it around. They've played him almost, 65 in a different time, 70, 75% in different games on the outside. And again, less than 30% as a slot player. I don't know, man. Like, we like Chris Godwin, but he's a great slot receiver. He's not a great outside wide receiver, which I don't know. The usage there is very curious too. So I don't really understand. Get anybody else to play outside wide receiver. You're not throwing to him anyways, right? You're not throwing to the third wide receiver anyways. Just have him run clear out routes or whatever it might be. Who cares? Why are you having Chris Godwin run clear out routes? Like, what are you doing? Chris Godwin's a certified good player. What are you guys doing out there? This goes back to just the coaching staff there. It's been bad. It's been bad. I don't know what they do utilize with their players, but it's not been good. Offensively, anyways. Defensively, they've been good. Defensively, they're fine. But Todd Bowles obviously learned absolutely nothing from his Jets experience. Nothing. It's the same stuff. Doesn't know how to coach offense. Doesn't understand, where to put emphasis. Has a great defense. And, it's still the same stuff, man. Horrible. Anyways, so it's Jerick McKinnon. I am going to say Godwin just based off of narrative. If you want to play full-on upside, give me Keaton Mitchell. So Jerick McKinnon, Keaton Mitchell, I think would probably be your best combination of like floor to upside, right? So I think both of those guys would be great. But I don't know, man. I've got a sneaky feeling that Chris Godwin, after some of the drama that's unfolded this past week, that he may get a good amount of targets today. So I will say Chris Godwin and Jerick McKinnon. But again, I by the way, I dropped down Kincaid. Dawson Knox is supposed to be active. And obviously under Ken Dorsey, who, by the way, not a good OC. Not a good OC, guys. Not a good OC. Under Ken Dorsey, Dawson Knox and Kincaid were playing together, and obviously they were, cannibalizing each other's production. But I just don't trust it, at least for this one particular game. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe Dawson Knox doesn't play at all. I don't know. But go ahead and give me Jerick McKinnon and Chris Godwin right there, and Keaton Mitchell very close to Chris Godwin. And again, Godwin. By the way, Godwin. I'm only saying Godwin because of narrative. If you don't want to believe in the narrative, cool. Go Keaton Mitchell. I'm not going to blame you, man. I'm not going to blame you at all. All right. Here we go. Rob Royds, what's up? Good to see you, pal. Jordan Love or Herbert. And bye week tight end filler. I think you mean Otten, not Orton, right? Otten or Conklin. Yeah. So I like Cade Otten this week. I'll take Cade Otten over Conklin. Yeah, neither one's a great option, let me tell you right now. But yeah, I like that matchup against Atlanta. I think Atlanta's really struggled. Again, About the fantasy points or whatever. I'm just saying from like a film perspective, I think they've really struggled against tight end. Okay, so Jordan Love or Justin Herbert. Um, oh, this one's tough. I really want to say Jordan Love. That was my initial gut reaction. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Jordan Love. Let me just confirm here because Denver versus New York Giants. What are we looking at here? Denver, um, league average in terms of production allowed to quarterback over the last 8 weeks. Been pretty good from some efficiency metrics. 62% completion rate. That's 10th best in the NFL. Meanwhile, we flip over to the Giants. The Giants, the G-men. You guys remember Chris Berman? Chris Berman is one of the reasons why I got into sports broadcasting. The G-Man. I love Chris Berman, man. I shouldn't say do you remember. He's still active. The fastest 2 minutes in football. Yeah, I don't think anyone watches that segment though, but I love Chris Berman. All right. Before we had the internet, we had Chris Berman, baby. All right. So just FYI, one of the best highlight, callers of all time. Giants, meanwhile, they're about league average. Yeah, they're about league average here against quarterbacks. It's kind of a little bit of a run funnel. Oh, I am a little bit surprised though. 62% completion rate to quarterback is 9th best in the NFL. So even better than Denver. So yeah, that's interesting. Although I look at it, by week 13, week 12, they had Mac Jones, and they also saw Aiden O'Connell in week 9. They saw Zach Wilson in week 8. They saw Sam Howell in week 11 and in week 7. So I don't know. Maybe we don't take too much away from the Giants defense being good against quarterbacks, because with Dak Prescott in week 10, 404 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5. So yeah, I think Jordan Love will be fine. I'm going to go Jordan Love. That's my gut reaction right there. But again, I don't think I honestly don't think you can go wrong with either one. I think Herbert's going to put up a pretty solid game as well. All right. By the way, if you guys have not, I would really appreciate if you guys would like and subscribe to the channel, man. That would be awesome. That would be great. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers here, man. So we're obviously a very small channel. I don't post as regularly as I need to, but that would be great, man. If you guys can help me, make that march towards 1,000 subscribers, that would be awesome. If you guys could help me out, man, that would be great. Okay. Jason McFarland, I think we got to you. Yeah, okay, there we go. Defensive question here from Clark Schuyler. By the way, if you guys have questions, obviously throw them in the chat. I'm going to start ripping through here because we've got about 20 minutes here to go. And I promise you, I will get to as many of these questions as possible. Should I grab Detroit defense against Chicago, Tampa Bay versus Atlanta? Yeah, Tampa Bay versus Atlanta looks pretty good to me. You want to start them over Indianapolis? Yeah, I think so. I think you want to play either Detroit. I kind of sort of, to be honest with you, I like Detroit of those 3. So give me Detroit of all of those, streamers there. Okay. Where are we going, baby? Doom. Darren Terrell. Let's go. Good to see you this morning. I definitely appreciate you supporting the channel for sure. Apologize to all the football fans who got to watch Drew Lock lead your Hawks against the Niners. It's gonna be kind of gross. But I don't know. The one thing I like about Drew Lock, and this is literally the only thing, he'll throw it, baby. He will throw it. I don't know how many high quality looks that anyone's gonna get, but he's gonna throw that thing. Yeah, so there we go. All right, here we go. Tierra Diaz, our resident Hollywood star here, by the way. Go check him out on IMDb. Tierra Diaz, playoff spot on the line. Let's go get it, baby. Non-PPR Dinosaur League. Let's go. Devontae Adams against Minnesota, like that, or Jahmyr Gibbs against you. Oh yeah, play Gibbs. I like Gibbs a lot. I like Gibbs a lot against Chicago. But Devontae Adams, really tough to sit down as well. So I don't think you can go wrong in either spot. But I do like Gibbs quite quite a bit. I think Detroit will have a pretty nice edge. I think Gibbs and David Montgomery are in line to have very nice days. Okay. Doug Higginbotham. Man, what a great last name. Higginbotham. Like I said, as somebody with a 3-letter last name, bro, man, I don't know. I get last name envy for sure. Aaron Jones or Jerick McKinnon. I'm not trusting the Aaron Jones injury quite yet. Wait, is Aaron Jones even active? Um, I gotta look this up. Is he even active? I wasn't sure. AJ Dillon full practice on Saturday. No injury designation. Aaron Jones. Oh yeah, limited practice all week. He is questionable. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm not trusting that injury yet. I wasn't sure if he was even ruled out yet. Who else is out? We know Christian Watson with the hamstring. He's going to be out as well. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and I'm not trusting that injury. Go ahead and give me McKinnon right there. Then one in the flex: Jake Ferguson, Amari Cooper, or Dontavian Wicks. Like I said, I think Dontavian Wicks is a really interesting deep sleeper, guys, but he's going to be third in the pecking order, if not fourth, in the pecking order behind, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and AJ Dillon. I think is going to get a lot of work too. If they built up a little bit of lead, watch out, right? Like the passing assets all of a sudden don't look as good. We like Dontavian Wicks, but I don't think I like him more than, let's say, Amari Cooper, who is coming back today. Cooper's in that bad weather game, though, so I think we kind of sort of take him out. Does that lead us to Jake Ferguson in a potential shootout? I think it does. Jake Ferguson taking on Philadelphia. Dallas has the highest point total on the board this week. So I think this leads us to Jake Ferguson. Yeah, I think Jake Ferguson of that group. I feel really weird flexing a tight end over a wide receiver, but I think that might be the call. I think that's the call. For me anyways. So yeah, give me Jake Ferguson. All right, Alex Vasquez, here we go. Breece Hall or Keaton Mitchell. Yeah, I know, right? Breece Hall just should be an auto start. Got the injury a little bit. Both these guys are obviously playing in bad weather conditions, which is not great. Yeah, and Hall, he is a little banged up. God, I hate it. I hate it, but give me Keaton Mitchell. I hate it, though. The one thing I'll say about Breece Hall, too, is, this team's going nowhere. Vibes are in the toilet. If he's banged up, by the way, this is a guy that already went through an ACL tear. You think he wants to play injured? Nah, dude. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he is like, yo, I just can't go. Or, they try to mix in some other running backs because he's just not fully healthy, So I'll go Keaton Mitchell right there. I don't like either one. To be honest with you, it's a little bit scary to play either one. Bad weather and, timeshare for Keaton Mitchell, injury concerns for Breece Hall. So, but I will take Mitchell there. I think he's the more explosive player. I will look up one last thing. Let's look up some matchup data. Let us look up some matchup data. New York Football Giants obviously taking on the Houston Texans. Houston last year was one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL, but over the last 8 games, they've allowed the 4th fewest fantasy points per game to the running back position. They have been outstanding. They give up production through the air, but on the ground, they have been spectacular. 2.2 yards per carry allowed to running backs over the last 8 weeks. 2.2. 4th best in the NFL. By the way, that's 4th best. That's bonkers that is 4th best. Anyways, who number 2 is Detroit Lions at 2.19. Who's number 1? Who is number 1? No, the New England Patriots. New England Patriots at 2.06. YPC allowed to running backs over the last 8 weeks. Anyways, the Texans have been great against the run. I'm not really loving Breece Hall right there. So yeah, I think you're good. You're good to go with Keaton Mitchell. Carmen Young II. What's up, dude? Here we go. 12 team PPR. You're starting Chase and Diggs, as you should. I like it. Who should you flex? All things considered, Puka. Oh, I don't like Puka. Not against Baltimore. Nico, I don't like him against the Jets and Sauce Gardner. No thanks. Waddle. Yeah, you're playing Waddle. Play Waddle. And I know that feels weird, right? Because Puka and Nico coming off of monster games, monster games. But again, when we're talking about the matchups, we're talking about the weather. Nah, dude. Go ahead and give me Waddle. Waddle's in a great spot, man. I think he's poised to have a nice game. I'll say this: 12 or more for Waddle. Lock it up, okay? And I think up to 18. So anywhere between 12 to 18 for Waddle and Nico. Listen, Nico and Puka could give you that too. Okay, like they have an 18-point ceiling. The only problem is they have like a 5-point floor, right? So I kind of sort of like the ceiling for all of these guys, and then the floor for Waddle for me way safer than Puka against Baltimore or Nico against Sauce and the Jets. Okay, so yeah, that's it. AJ or AG rather. Good morning to you. Nervous about Calvin Ridley, as I would be too. Not a great matchup, and in bad weather, I'm not liking it at all. Plus, we got a banged up quarterback. Nah, dude, I'm good. Would I sit him for CEH? Yes, 100%. Would I sit him for Wicks? No, but I didn't automatically say no there. I didn't automatically say no right there. So that's how far down I am with Calvin Ridley. So I'd probably play CEH against Buffalo ahead of Calvin Ridley in this one. Yeah, man. Hey, Robin, what's up? Good to see you, dude. Happy first week before championships. All right, let's go. Before championships, or you mean before playoffs? Playoffs next week. I don't know about championships. Who's having a championship next week? That'd be interesting. Yeah. All right. Hey, Jay Dillon is the is the fantasy Santa. As my former coworker and good friend, John the Guru Hansen would say, he'd call him he'd call him Fantasy Santa for sure. December rolls around, AJ Dillon comes bearing gifts, baby. Let me tell you. How are your championship odds? Here's the deal. PPR, you got to play 3 running backs. You got to play 3 running backs? Golly, what kind of league is this? This is tough. You've got Rashad White, Jacobs, Mixon. Yeah, you're playing all those guys for sure. Replace one of them at, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I got it. You got one in the flex. All right. Replace one of them for Waddle versus Tennessee. No, not really. I think I like all 3 of those guys a little bit more than Waddle. From a floor and upside perspective. So I think you're right there. Let's see. Left to right, better than. I don't even know what this is. I don't know what your screen name is, pal, but I like it. I don't know what it all stands for, but let's go. Should I be worried about Amari Cooper? Yes, 100%. Oh my God, you should be worried about Amari Cooper. The injuries, the weather, all that stuff, 100% worried about Amari. Start him over Romeo Dobbs. You know what? I'm going to say start Romeo Dobbs ahead of Amari Cooper. Weather is probably my biggest concern with Amari. I think Romeo is probably going to see a good amount of work there. I think we're good. I think I like Romeo Dobbs ahead of Amari Cooper, just a smidge right there. Although Cooper's going to see some work, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if he doesn't see 10 targets in this one. I actually would be surprised if he saw double-digit targets in a bad weather game, competing for targets with, Elijah Moore. I'd be surprised. I still have Cedric Tillman as a deep sleeper in this one because the matchup against Jacksonville is really nice on the outside. So there you go. Ryan Hewitt, DeAndre Swift versus Dallas, or Jerick McKinnon, half point PPR. Wow, that one's a tough one. I want to say Jerick McKinnon, but I think you're probably safer and better off against Swift. Both are supposed to be high-scoring games, but the Philly game is supposed to be even more high-scoring. I think you're going to run across a little bit more touchdown upside there with Swift. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If this was my team, If this was my team, I am playing Jerick McKinnon if it's my team. But if I'm advising somebody like I am you, Ryan Hewitt, I would say Swift. I don't know if that makes any sense because I think Swift is the safer call. I think they have similar upside. By the way, it's half point PPR, not full point PPR, which knocks down Jerick McKinnon's upside just a little bit. So I'm going to say Swift in a half point. Full point, I might go McKinnon there. But half point, give me DeAndre Swift, man. Michael DeGangi, what's up, man? Good morning to you. I haven't seen you in the chat, so welcome if this is your first time, bro. We got 9 minutes to go before kickoff, so let me get to some of these questions a little bit faster here. If there's anything I like, it's the sound of my own voice, baby. So I like talking. All right, let's go. BPR, running back and flex, CEH, Keaton Mitchell, Zay Jones, Dallas Goedert. Interesting one. I think I am feeling. Look, I'm not feeling Zay Jones. Again, weather concern. The quarterback situation is real sketch. Give me CEH and Keaton Mitchell. I think right there. What's up with Dallas Goedert, man? Like, I know he's back, but is he back? You know what I mean? Like, is this dude? Is he going to just be good to go? Just like that, first game back off of IR. Full practice all week, forearm injury, not a lower body injury. So I guess that's pretty good. Let me look this up. Dallas Goedert. If we're being honest, you look at the game log here for Dallas Goedert. He's had 2 really good games, and everything else has been meh. Right. Week 1, he had a 0 spot. He's only cracked double digits in 2 of his first 9 games. Right. In 2 of his first 9 games, he cracked double digits. He had a 18.7 game in PPR against Miami and a 25-point game against the Rams, who have been giving up a lot of production to tight ends this year. Right. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm probably not. I'm not feeling it, but so yeah, I think Goddard's fine, but I probably, if I'm gonna chase the upside, I might chase the upside here for CEH and Keaton Mitchell. So I think we'll go there. Michael Parlagreco, what's up, pal? Good to see you, and I always appreciate your support online for sure, man. How are we feeling about Deontay Foreman? Not great, Bob. 14 team league, 3 flex. 14 team, 3 flex. Jesus Christ, dude. Full point PPR. You're looking to flex 2 of the players of Gus Edwards, Keaton Mitchell. Oh, Gus Edwards or Keaton Mitchell, Foreman or Elijah Moore versus Jacksonville. Okay. Full point PPR. Flexing 2 of. Okay, so oh man, that's tough. This is tough. You know what's really tough about that is that Gus Edwards is, I think, a good sleeper, and Keaton Mitchell is a good sleeper, but you can't play both because you know one's going to fail, right? Right? You would think, like, you can't get both of these guys to go, right? So that's what makes that one tough, because I think they're both good sleepers, but you can't play them both because I don't think there's enough meat on the bone for both to really play well. I could be wrong. Obviously, game script could be different, but I don't know. You're really trying to thread the needle right there, I think, if you try to play both. So I will go with Keaton Mitchell and Deontay Foreman. What the hell is going to happen there, man? It's a bad matchup, too, against, give me Elijah Moore. Give me Keaton Mitchell and Elijah Moore. Bad weather be damned. I think Elijah Moore is probably still going to see, 6 to 7 targets. Let's see what he does with it. Deontay Foreman, it could be a 3-back rotation. Honestly, could be. I think it'll be 2. I think it's going to be Deontay Foreman and oh my God, I'm blanking right now. Not Rashawn Johnson. Khalil Herbert. Sorry, brain completely cramped up right there. Deontay Foreman and Khalil Herbert, but I could be wrong. And honestly, Foreman could get iced out like he did earlier in the year. It could be a 3-man rotation, and it's a bad matchup against Detroit. Too many variables, way too low upside, or way too low of a floor. And ceiling is fine, but you're touchdown dependent now. So Keaton Mitchell Elijah Moore for me. I don't feel great about the Keaton Mitchell, Gus Edwards thing, though. So, yeah, I could be 100% wrong on that one. Jay Brendan, what's up? Good to see you. Flex, PPR, Amari Cooper, Ford, or Ferguson? I like Ford. I like Jerome Ford in this one. Bad weather game. They're going to lean on the run game a little bit here. And Jacksonville has given up a lot of production to running backs as well. I kind of like Ford there. Jake Ferguson, I think, is probably pretty good too. And we talked about Amari Cooper at length. But go ahead and give me Jerome Ford, I think, against in that matchup against Jacksonville. Daniel Andrews with 4 minutes to go. Can I get to them all? Yes, I will. Need a win to get in the playoffs. Do I start A-Chain or Pollard? Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm going to go with, oh my God. I'm going to go with Pollard. Pollard's been featured a lot more, higher scoring game. I think you're exposing yourself to a little bit more touchdown upside. Go ahead and give me Tony Pollard right there. Nate Sosia, Gibbs or Rashad White? Gibbs or Rashad White? Wow, this one's, oh my gosh, you guys are really bringing it with these questions, man. Chicago's actually been really tough against running backs recently. They've given up the 11th fewest fantasy points per game, although they give up a lot of receiving production. So that's where I like Gibbs this week. Oh my gosh, this one's so hard. Rashad White, man. Oh my goodness. Rashad White's just been automatic every damn week. He's been automatic though. Lower scoring game against Atlanta. And Atlanta's been pretty tough against running backs as well. I'm going to go Gibbs. Give me Gibbs right there. I'm going to hope for a big play. And I think he might deliver against Chicago. I don't know. So we'll see. Where are we? Do. Okay, come on. We got it. Hold on. Where are we going? JC, Spare, Josh Downs, Alexander Madison. I like Madison actually a lot more right there is Alexander Madison. Blake Barvitz. What's up, pal? Good to see you. It's been a minute. Fields or Russell Wilson as QB2? I like Fields. I think they're going to be playing a little catch up, and I think Fields is going to get out there and do his thing. So they'll be good. Colts D from Lucio Figueroa. Colts D or Green Bay's D with 2 minutes to go. Give me Green Bay. Oh, come on, dude. Against the Giants? Yeah, give me Green Bay D. 100% for sure. Antoine, here we go. I think we're going to get there, baby. Antoine, Kincaid or Hawkinson with JJ back. TJ's target share only 18%. I'm not worried about it. Different quarterback. We're talking about a different quarterback here, not your traditional pocket passer. I think with the Pastronaut, okay, I think Hawkinson will be fine. Yeah, give me Hawkinson right there over Kincaid. By the way, we're not sure about target. I mean, you're talking about target share with Hawkinson. How about target share with Dawson Knox and Kincaid? You know what I'm saying? Robin, you're hungover? Oh, that was me a couple weeks ago, so I feel you, man. Okay, so what do we got? Do we got one more? We got one more. Okay. Clark. Oh my gosh. Can I get to this one? I can't even see this comment. Here we go. Clark Schuyler. Dubs versus the Giants, or Rice versus Buffalo, London versus Tampa Bay. Not touchdown. I think I like. Oh, it's half PPR and you only get 1 point for every 15 yards. Oh, that's interesting. Well, it's definitely not London then. I don't think he's gonna get very many yards. Although I guess in that format, touchdowns are more important, right? I am gonna say Rice. Rice against Buffalo, if touchdowns are more important in that format. All right, so there you go. Oh my God, I can't believe we got to it. We got to all the questions, baby. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. So here we are. Week 14 is underway. Good luck to everyone out there. Let's make the playoffs, baby. I want to see you guys here next week talking about your playoff rosters. All right, let's go. Week 14. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. All right. Let's go, dude. I appreciate you guys. If you guys have more questions, obviously find me online. Find me on TikTok. I'm gonna start doing some more TikTok lives, by the way. Just FYI. Gonna start doing more of these on the old TikTok. So, anyways, we'll see you guys. Good luck to everyone out there, man. And we will see you same bat channel, same bat time here next week. All right, peace. Later.